If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your favorite words I would choke.
Happy Jambalaya Wednesday to everyone in the sports universe. It is November the 9th, 2022. This is the AM Drive on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And for Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carvel. You can point to my guy too, if you want.
Oh, there's Mike.
For Aaron
Hello,
Crouch,
Mikey. Hello.
you're a good guy. Pop, I can hit you sometimes too. We'll do that. Anyways. We are presented by our websites for our shop sponsors, socials, and YouTube, all in one place. Go to mikeandaarondrive.com. And when you click the Our Shop tab, you can also use the code Mahomes for free shipping. It expires this Sunday, November the 13th, for those that are listening or watching around the same time. We're very topical here. And like I said, Aaron is back, so we're happy for that. And because Aaron is back, he's got to catch us up. We're going to wrap it up, the NFL week number 9. So, Aaron, the first thing I want to ask you, because you are his big, one of his biggest fans. I'm kidding. Tom Brady's last drive, did it mean anything to you, or did you kind of like this team still sucks the entire game, like I thought?
So it's twofold, and you have to kind of put on a objective cap to say, look, this team still got some massive issues to overcome, but they wake up on Monday morning in first place in their division, and really that's all you kind of need at this moment. You're coming off of, I believe, a 3-game slide where you've lost to some pretty underachieving teams, maybe a couple of teams that are tanking.
Oh,
but you look at everything that's gone on, and that drive kind of solidifies, maybe not solidifies, but re-energizes a franchise at this point. Because, and I know you put less stock into this than a lot of other people do, and maybe other people who have gone through this situation. You and I haven't gone through a divorce. Now, we're also not celebrities. But, when you believe you are in love with somebody and then that love has just evaporated, you don't just get over it. And like I said, when we talked about this weeks ago about who's to blame, what's to blame, right. I do believe a part of it, or, how big, I don't know, but I do believe a part of it was this marital issue. Yes, Todd Bowles has had some issues. Yes, the defense, they've had some injuries in the secondary. Yes, Leonard Fournette hasn't been running the ball as effectively as we'd like him to. But that all kind of culminated and really was put aside when Tom Brady got the ball back with 45 seconds left. It almost felt like, okay, well, if Brady still has some magic left in the tank, right. We're going to see it right here. And we saw it. So, maybe you get a little bit excited over nothing. It could end up being a nothing burger. But for that, 45 seconds or whatever it is, it felt like the magic of Tom Brady was back.
That's a fair point. It is interesting you mentioned the stock, because yesterday was NFL Stock Exchange, and I had the Buccaneers trending up. The team I had trending down was the next guy on the list, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Aaron Crouch, this Packers team is falling apart, and Rodgers, I've never seen him that emotional. I think he realizes he played like crap. It has been playing like crap this year. They've got to get this thing fixed fast, or Matt LaFleur's out of a job, and it's Jordan Love season. I'm kidding about Jordan Love, but you get it.
It almost kind of makes you wonder. You look back 15 years ago, and everyone thought the Packers were crazy for moving on from Brett Favre. Now, I understand Aaron Rodgers on the bench is way different than Jordan Love on the bench, but the point being is that it seemed that even when drafting Jordan Love, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers weren't ready to get the divorce that Tom and Giselle
Lying
got.
on the wall over here.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it doesn't make sense in hindsight the last 2 years because he's won freaking MVP the last 2 years.
Right.
But it does seem like, maybe this marriage just is gone on a little too long. And you can tell not Brady, but you can tell Rodgers' heart just doesn't seem to be in it. But you're right. That last press conference after the Lions loss, which he absolutely played horrible. He hasn't played well. The team hasn't played well. It just, what made me laugh kind of with all of it is Aaron Rodgers comes out a couple weeks ago and says, hey, we need to simplify the offense. And Matt LaFleur goes, I don't know what that means. So against the Bills, what do? They simplify the offense. They run the hell out of the football, and it's moderately successful. So what do they do the next week? Aaron Jones, 8 carries. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, it worked against the Bills. You don't think running the football effectively would work against the Detroit Lions? I mean, I can't.
Why throw on the goal line twice is what was killing me. Like, he already threw one interception.
Right, and threw another one.
I don't like the play calling at any goal line situation they had.
It's been bad. It's been it's just really interesting to see like what the worst case scenario is Aaron Rodgers decides
Aaron Rodgers get divorced.
Well, yeah, Aaron Rodgers just decides to retire early, and then the Packers just probably fire LaFleur or give him one more year, and you know it's not going to go well.
It's going to end in 6 weeks probably, but you're right.
But they can't go forward with Jordan Love. I think they know that, and so the question now is how much time does Aaron Rodgers have left? Do you try another? I mean, there's a lot of good first-round talents and even early second to third round. Will Levis, C.J. Stroud potentially coming out. Obviously, I don't think they're going to be high enough for like a Bryce Young, but
do you think TANK's in order here?
No, I don't think Aaron Rodgers will let him tank. But the thing is I don't know if they're good enough to be above, like to be 500. They're good. They're good enough on paper to be 500. They're just not playing that way.
You know what's sad about this is it's almost like the Packers held on for one season too long. Like we've heard about Aaron Rodgers' retirement rumors for a couple of years now, and this year he was okay with Davante Adams going.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, is this secretly his swan song? I don't think he'd be mad at not having a farewell tour. I mean, he seems like a psychological.
Too late this year.
Seems like a scumbag, anyways. Like I'll be honest, Aaron Rodgers seems like a personality diva, and I don't think he would give a crap if the fans saw him one last time or not.
No, I don't think he would care about that. And you don't really see that too much in the NFL like you do in like Major League Baseball and hockey and stuff like that, and maybe basketball as well. It's tough. I mean, I don't think Rodgers will retire, but if the season continues to go into this downward spiral and they're facing a top 5 pick, they might actually, I mean, the thing is like they stuck together for the kids. The problem is the kids left. Davante went on to greener pastures, at least for money purposes, not necessarily for record wise. But I mean, I just offensively, he needs to figure out a way. And this is why I put the most blame on him, is because he didn't work out with these new guys in the offseason. He almost continues to not trust them, which I can understand you having a little bit of hesitancy, but
even Brady will try Scotty Miller for crying in the sink. He'll try 2 rookie tight ends yesterday.
Right. And not only that, other than this last season, Brady was, when he went from New England to Tampa, he was with those guys in the summer, getting connections, making connections with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all these guys. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers, they've got young receivers. Yeah, it's your fault, Davante. There was no money for Davante Adams. Like, you've got to be a part of this team. You're not just the guy who walks in and, the whole place settings are set up. You're a guy who has to set the table. And he's just not doing it.
Colts, I don't like talking about this. Colts fired Frank Reich. I guess 3 points against the Patriots will do that, even though it was Patriots defense, but it wasn't good. Mm-hmm. I thought it was funny that 2 weeks ago, I was waiting. I thought it was going to come back to bite Jim Irsay saying that where that he said, "Oh, we have new energy," which is a little crap when they went to Sam Ehlinger, and then they hired Jeff Saturday, who I'm not mad at, But as interim, it's almost like Jeff Saturday kind of doesn't want to coach the team past the rest of the season. He's just filling a void because you threw him some money and he loves the Colts. Like, that's the only thing I can think of here.
100%. He will not. I can't see a scenario where he's the coach past week 18 or the playoffs, if God forbid they happen to get there. I don't see a spot here where he becomes the head coach. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It almost really seems like, utilizing the consultant's role, they, since Frank Reich and the Colts, staff is almost pretty much terminated as it is. Eberflus jetted off to Chicago. Marcus Brady got fired. Yep. Yeah, the defense has suffered. The whole team has really suffered. This just seems like a Band-Aid, and that's fine. And I think that's the right way to do it. I mean, having a guy come in with absolutely no coaching experience in any league that's above high school.
Even though Stephen A. Smith was crying because he's like, this guy knows. That's not why he was crying, but he's like, Stephen A. was like, he knows the game better than most people he's ever talked to, which is good.
100%. I mean, knowing the game is okay, but we talk about, and I'm sure Sam talks about on Mondays, is all these pressure-packed spots where like guys like Nathaniel Hackett, situationals, end of games, end of halves, when to go for it, when to not go for it.
Yep.
If Jeff Saturday can build a team around him and, swallow his pride and get the max value out of a coaching staff and analytics team, then he can work. I mean, and that's the thing we have to look at nowadays is while the head coach is the final voice or the leader or the face of this organization, basically, assistant coaches, all the staff are becoming that much more important. In the moment, coaches have, especially the head coach, has so many things going on that like analytics might not be right at the forefront. It might be, there's a situation going on the sidelines, this, that, and the other. But, an analytics team saying, hey, Coach Sat, this is a spot where we go for it. If we miss it on third down, we need to be prepared to go for it on fourth. Or if we, instead of trying a first down on third down, we need to get at least to the, we need a play that at least gets us close to the sticks, this, that, and the other. I mean, it can work out with Jeff Saturday. All that being said, Frank Reich, if you were going to fire him at the end of the season, why not let him just finish out the season? You're paying him.
I don't know. That was weird.
And I'll say this from the get, and I know you and I were on different sides of this, and this doesn't change my opinion of Matt Ryan. I still think he's an average to mediocre quarterback. He gave the Colts the best chance to win, and it was stupid to bench him. Injuries aside, when he's healthy, he needs to come back and be the starting quarterback. And I listened to your monologue on this yesterday, and I think you agree with me.
I do. I'm happy. Thank you. That makes me feel like warm inside, in a mature way, of course. I will say though, it is interesting because I was wondering, like, is this almost like a give Matt Ryan another shot? But
I think so. It might be.
Like I said yesterday, it's like Sam Ellinger, like, just like, I don't think he destroys his psyche, but it's definitely like, it's horrible for PR. Like, they've screwed this up completely. I don't know if it's Chris Ballard or Jim Irsay, but one of these two guys, it almost like Chris Ballard is trying to save his own job by just plugging in Jeff Saturday. That's what it seems like.
Well, again, I don't know if this, I think this is a Band-Aid. I don't believe he will be. The only way I believe he'll be the permanent head coach is like an AFC divisional title appearance, like divisional round appearance or better.
And it's possible, but not. It doesn't look like the chemistry is going to be there, but I do think that is talent-wise possible.
I mean, the Titans are 5-3. Basically, they're 3 games ahead of the Colts because they've swept them. They swept the season series, so it looks as if you're looking at you're staring on the barrel of a wild card unless something crazy happens. But to me, it never made sense to begin with. If you believed that Sam Ellinger should have had an opportunity this season, then you would have gone into 2022 with him as the starter instead of trading for Matt Ryan, because you've had Ellinger on the staff for what? This is his 3rd year in the league or 2nd year in the league. Third. So he's been on the roster for a couple years now. You know what you have in this guy from practice, preseason, etc. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for them to say Matt Ryan's benched for the entire season. It never made sense to me, because you're basically saying that if Ehlinger got hurt or if Ehlinger played like crap, we're bringing in Nick Foles. No, I don't buy it. You traded for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is the captain that takes the ship up or down, wherever it goes. And I think eventually we'll see Matt Ryan back in the ballgame.
I think we can skip that last one because it really doesn't matter. Plus, I want to get to college football.
All I'll say is that Mahomes put on a show on Sunday night, and it was pretty fun to watch.
It was nice. That was nice. And it was at the expense of the Titans. Thank God. Because that was almost not at the expense of the Titans. So,
well, and you talk about that, like, speaking of abandoning the run, like, why did the Titans abandon the run? I mean,
it almost like Derrick Henry was kind of like hurting. Like I didn't see him a lot in the second half, and I feel like he could, like, even like with a couple of holding calls, I feel like you still could have plugged him back in there. He was on the sideline a lot though, and that was weird.
Yeah, maybe there was an injury there, but like I don't want to say it was an easy game for the Chiefs because they had their hands full, at least with the Titans defensively. But it was nice for the Chiefs defensively to know that basically it was a one-dimensional offense because Malik Willis just isn't going to throw the ball.
He's not ready, and Mike Vrabel showed that in preseason. He does not want him doing some of the things he wants to do. Obviously, Malik, that is, but.
And I'll wrap it up with a hot take here for the NFL with regards to what you said yesterday on the show. I think Tannehill would have beat him. I
think it's close, and I get it, but I think the game plan defensively completely changes too. So that's what would be my only pushback, but I can kind of see that point.
I just think, you add the element of the passing game. That may have either opened up more for Derrick Henry or at least gave him an option to. I mean, the receivers caught 0 passes that game. 0. They caught 0 passes. It was backs and tight ends.
When we come back, we're going to talk about coaching seats that are getting it's kind of hot over here, and also college football craziness and playoff rankings that ended it all. It's insane. And don't forget, we got more after that. So we'll be right back to the AM Drive. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah. You want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Welcome back in here to the Jambalaya Wednesday edition of the AM Drive, and we are presented by, you see it right above us, you hear about it, you click it, you shop it, it's Fanatics, but it's Fanatics with a twist. You got to go to MikeandAaronDrive.com and do what, Mike?
Click the F.
Click the F, and when you click that F, it takes you into the Fanatics website where you can shop till you drop. Christmas is coming up, so you make
That
sure
is
you
true.
get everything on the list for that sports fan or fans in your life. It's getting cold out there, guys. Don't
Ooh.
forget, you get hoodies, you get jackets, you get pullovers, everything to keep you warm and support your teams this and every season. It's Fanatics, it's MikeandAaronDrive.com, it's clicking the F, it's doing it right, it's supporting the show, and for that we thank you.
Yeah, it is getting kind of cold out there, ain't it?
It is. It's already like in the 50s here, so yeah. It's getting cold for some people around the country too. It's election day, or yesterday was election day. I know they're counting all the votes. You care about that stuff?
I do not. Absolutely not. I know one of our buddies was watching it. I did not care. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I vote. I don't know. I'm not going to sit around and watch the tickers tick and when the votes come in. No, you just tell me when it's done.
I did watch the night that Trump won and the night that Obama won. Obama was for school. I don't know if they still do that as the kids, but they told me to watch the elections for study. And then
Right.
the Trump thing, I was just like, because my dad told me to watch it happen, and then like it shocked the world. My dad was like, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I will say this though, like I tend to lean moderately, like I'm very centered with a lot of it. I agree with a lot of issues on both sides, and but if Herschel Walker wins the race in Georgia, I mean, what is this? What is this world coming to?
I know Kemp beat Stacey Abrams, and then the Herschel Walker thing that was brutal.
He's just he's just not had a lot of great things to say. It seems like there's a little brain damage up there, but I could be wrong.
He real quick, not to get to it, but he's a sports guy, so it does make sense here.
Yeah.
He is the second guy this year that was running for something that used their Georgia football playing days. And I said it, and I was like, this is not. If that's the selling point, people are slurping that up. That's why I don't do politics.
Hey,
That's rough.
Arnold was the governor of California for 8 years. You never know, man.
I'll set that up for you, by the way, when I said it was getting cold and you didn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
You did forget.
Well, speaking of getting cold, the seats are getting hot in the NFL. Yep. We've already got 2 coaches fired this year with Matt Rule and Frank Reich, the latest casualty. But, yes, I guess we have a moment of silence for those 2 guys.
Well, for Frank Reich, but yeah, you can do Matt Rule.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Matt Rule is it hasn't gotten any better for that team, so I wouldn't be sweating it too much. But, yeah, so we'll look at here the situation. Obviously, every year it seems like a fourth of the league turns over.
Ugh.
So that's approximately to exactly 8 teams in the league. Last year we had, I believe, 10 vacancies open up last year. So we're already a quarter of the way to the quarter of the league being fired this year. So I think it's a good time here. We're about midway through the season to look at potentially, unless they get it in gear, who are some other head coaches that are on the hot seat that could potentially be fired either during the season or come the end of 2022-2023.
So I do like this called getting warm, because it may not be hot, but it is like they're hot, but like they may not. You get it. It's like it's playing there. My first one, I'm going to raise you, and I'm sure you've got him too. But I got more I can choose from. I'm going to go with the man who I thanked yesterday for bailing on the Colts, Josh McDaniels. I have been 1,010% right about this hire. I understand Devontae Adams, but you said it. Feed him in the first half, Aaron. What they do in the second half? What didn't they do? It's absolutely astonishing how that game ended up. But yeah, Josh McDaniels that's melting very fast.
Yeah, I mean it's football 101, and I'll never understand it. And I am over, especially in the NFL, but in all these sports, with the way that teams can come back on you. I'm done with this sportsmanship thing. Beat a team 50-0. I don't care. Continue throwing. Run trick plays, because when you're up 20-0, the game is not over.
That almost like started with Brady and Mahomes, didn't it? Like when Brady's 20-3 and then Mahomes' rivalry. It's almost like they both felt like Mahomes is obviously talented in the Andy Reid offense, but then you've also got Tom Brady, who came back from 23 and showed anything's possible.
Well, of course. I mean, it's probably started before that, but those are two, especially in Super Bowls, those are two key, points to make here for this topic. But it's like, I don't get it. Like people are like, you need to go into conservative offense because you don't want to, you don't want to make a mistake and let the other team back in. Well, your non-conservative offense just got you a 28-point lead. Keep that up.
Yep.
Keep
the
it
Falcons
up.
did that too, actually. The Falcons didn't. I remember a lot of mistakes. I just remember like a lot of, wait, what are we doing here? Like, where is the firepower?
Well, they go into the conservative, run the clock mode, and then that leads to a lot of 3 and out. I mean, when you're telling the defense what you're doing in NFL defense, it's impossible to continue being successful.
That's what the Rams did on Sunday. Like, I watched the replay of that game finally yesterday because I didn't get to catch it. I was sleeping. I am horrible. But I was like, the last 3 Rams drives, I'm like, are we really just hoping Brady has only 45 seconds left? I don't. That's what that looked like. I'm like, what am I watching here? Running up the gut. Okay, cool. Buccaneers ball. They had like 3 chances and only finally got it right. It's insane. Raise me one.
So my first coach on the hot seat, and I'll say it's becoming warranted, although I never thought this person should have been hired to begin with. It's going to be Lovie Smith. I think he was a Band-Aid hire.
Yeah. You said that before the season, and you did.
And I think ultimately someone may come around where they like it, the flavor of the month, whoever the new coach is. Maybe they go with like, D'Amico Ryans or Eric Bieniemy, or somehow throw a lot of money at Sean Payton to come back. I don't think he would do it.
That's a name that's I'm throwing around. I'm getting tired of that. But anyways, go ahead.
He's going to come back. I just don't think he's going to step into that situation. He's going to step into something that's like if Sean McVay retires, it would be pretty juicy to step into like the Rams job. But I think he wants the Cowboy job, to be honest with you. But so for me, I think Lovie Smith, I think he'll last the season because I think that was kind of, the plan all along. But the Texans would become the first team in NFL history to fire a head coach in back-to-back seasons. Back-to-back one-and-done seasons, too.
Leave it to a team that we have to still play one more time, and we tied.
They might get another tie out of you guys. But he's my number one, I think, is going to be fired after the season.
That's a fair point. Another guy I'm thinking of is one we've already really talked about. It's not really, it is his fault, but it's not his fault because you know who's a drama queen, and even though I love him, I can say that. It's Matt LaFleur. He has been, like, if you think Sean McVay has been daddied by Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur is like the third best guy who gets daddied by both of them. Like, every time the Packers play somebody, it's like they've got a good game plan until something late happens. And to me, even Mike McCarthy found a way with Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know why Matt LaFleur is. And again, it could be Aaron Rodgers, but again, the special teams mistake in the playoffs kind of emphasizes my point there. That can't happen. Like, that game was going perfectly for you guys, and that one play changed the trajectory, and that matters. So I'd have to go with Matt LaFleur. Maybe not warranted, but it's definitely warmer than it has been.
So your two coaches, Matt LaFleur and the other one was?
Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels, that's right. So the low-hanging fruit that I'm surprised that we're both going to skip here is obviously Nathaniel Hackett. I'm gonna put a pause on him. I know his seat is definitely, his seat warmer has been turned on, but I'm going to go with Dan Campbell in Detroit.
That's a good one.
For all this, like you said, the big energy, the rah-rahs, the biting kneecaps, and, all this other, crap. And I know he had the number one scoring offense for a little bit. His record currently as it stands is worse than Matt Patricia's, and they fired him at the end of his third season. I think when Jim Caldwell it's not really
That's
exciting.
That's a Colts legend, by the way.
But I was going to say the curse of Jim Caldwell, but the Lions have sucked for 50 years. But it feels like, when you fire a coach who has 3 winning seasons out of 4 years, like there's a curse. Like you deserve to have a curse on you. And they have so far. So I'm going to say Dan Campbell, unless something crazy turns around. or happens in this season, I'm going to say Dan Campbell also gets the boot after his third season in Detroit.
I got one more for you that I can think of off top because there's a couple I kind of think of, but this one definitely. I was watching a replay of of a divisional matchup this past weekend, and this divisional matchup featured a team that was in position to win many times, but there were so many things. It's almost like watching a Frank Reich Colts game, like just penalties and just like, what are we doing here like nowadays? And who runs the league, Aaron? Is it coaches or is it quarterbacks?
Unfortunately, I think quarterbacks run the league.
Agreed. Unless your name is Bill or Mike, you get it. So I will say this. This quarterback is already locked up, and for a franchise that needs tickets, Cliff Kingsbury would be first to go more than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was arguing. How do you argue with DeAndre Hopkins, bro? Like, I made like a list of like a couple of guys that like are MVPs that aren't quarterbacks. It's Hopkins, it's Derrick Henry, it's TJ Watts. Like it's a very select list of guys who change teams that usually their position doesn't do that, even though you'd like to say it does. So I don't know what the hell the Cardinals were doing. It was gross. Please watch that condensed replay when you get a chance. That is the most awful football you will see, and they still had a chance to win the game, and of course choked it.
So yeah, he came to mind obviously because I think there's just
I had to throw him out there.
There's just a well-deserved crap show with all of this that went on with Kyler Murray in the offseason. They all deserve each other.
Tell Sammy's joke while you're at it. That was funny that you just texted us.
I'll have to look at it on my phone, but they all got extended. The GM, the coach, and Kyler all got extended. So like they're married to each other. Unless the Cardinals want to be paying two head coaches a lot of money come next season, I just don't see a spot where Cliff Kingsbury gets extended only to be fired.
That's a good point. I will say, so Sammy Action is a great text. He said, I wonder if the Cardinals' offensive struggles are because the new Call of Duty game just came out. That's a hot topic, man.
Well played. Vice golf clap to you, sir.
Good job. You have any more?
Didn't I tell you? It's funny that we mentioned this. Didn't I tell you as soon as the whole the studying clause scandal got posted and rescinded? Didn't I tell you every time the Cardinals have trouble or lose a game, it's gonna say because Kyler didn't study enough all season? Like whether that's true or not, that's the crutch that they have now decided to hobble on, basically.
It's rough because they have so many. I love their defense. Their defense is actually not bad. I think like they lead the league in defensive touchdowns with 5 of them. Like they got like Isaiah Simmons, they got JJ Watt, they got a few guys on both sides, and it's just not there. Like their fundamentals. Like Greg Dortch keeps on returning kicks and he fumbles or stumbles or crumbles or whatever. Kyler Murray runs around and still. What is this? Is this like his 4th year in the league? How does he hold the ball? Dude, a fingertip from Ryan Neal punched that joker out. That is, I've never seen that before.
I said it in the beginning of the season, and not to defend Kingsbury or the GM, but I'd have let him walk.
Right.
I'd have let him scrub all his socials and go find somewhere else to play.
Unfortunately, I call it Kingsbury. I call him Kings Hawaiian because he needs to go to Hawaii.
I mean, you could.
I just made that up. I'm sorry.
You could pop any average quarterback on this team and they can be 3-6.
I agree. It's sad, and they might be more dedicated. Tom Brady.
I'd say Tom Brady's probably more dedicated to football now than Kyler Murray is.
He might, yeah, and he might also marry Giselle before he goes to the Cardinals. He'll remarry Giselle before he goes to the Cardinals.
Yeah, probably so. That's fair.
All right, let's do some college craziness mixed with some college football playoff rankings. So college craziness happened, and Aaron it shook it up a little bit, just like a little salt shaker.
Mm-hmm.
First off, Clemson and Tennessee stood no chance on the road. I mean, that was just gross.
Insane.
You called Notre Dame. Tennessee, I gave them a little bit we saw like 10, 14 point victory. They had no chance. And the rain didn't come till the 4th quarter when it was over.
Well, wasn't it a 14-point victory? 28-13 or something like that?
Yeah, but because they scored late, it was like 20-6 the entire game.
Hey, no matter how you get there, I called
That's
it 10
right.
to 14.
Cover. Oh, Aaron Crouch covers.
But you're right. They dominated. They being Georgia, dominated that. Just from start to finish.
Smack
And
dab.
we kind of both saw it. Although I went the under route.
Me too.
With my
5, baby.
pick instead of you did have it in your AM Drive 5.
I have
Drive
2
5
pushes.
again, 2 and 3 again this week. It's just I cannot get off this schneid. But
I had the first ever 2 push week. That was fun.
yeah, I felt like Notre Dame. If that game was in Clemson, I would not have had the same feeling, despite the result could have been the same. But
Right.
you were just waiting. You were waiting on Clemson to kind of have this game. It felt like it might have come against Wake Forest. It felt like, okay, maybe it'll come against NC State, Florida
Syracuse
State.
even had them to the ropes.
Yeah, Syracuse had them. Yeah, you're right. And then finally, the wheels came off for them. The good thing for Clemson is that this loss happened out of conference, so they can still win the ACC and theoretically an outside shot at the college football playoff. I don't see it
until you saw the rankings.
Yeah, until they dropped all the way to 10. Even with that now, I mean,
can we be real about who's number 5? Like that's not fair. There's no way in hell that's fair.
I don't disagree with it necessarily. They were the number 1 team. They've knocked off a number 1 team this year. They lost to who is now the number 1 team.
That was easy. Staples.
Well, they lost to Georgia. Look at a common opponent. They lost to Georgia by 14. Oregon lost to Georgia by 38. Yes, I know it was the beginning of the season.
I know.
But those kinds of comparisons matter. Ultimately, I believe Oregon still has the clearer path because Ohio State and or Michigan is going to, or not and or, but Ohio State or Michigan are going to lose the game because they play each other. TCU, I love that up there for them, getting the Big 12 love because there's no Big 12 love anywhere else. The next team is Texas, a 3-loss Texas.
And guess who plays each other this weekend? Apparently, I found out this morning.
Oh, that is a big matchup, TCU Texas.
And I think the latter horns could get them.
There's a possible chance they might get them, but for the sake of the Big 12, they need TCU to keep on rolling.
That would be nice. I'd pay off Quinn Ewers. Say you're not going to be here next year anyways. Just throw 6 interceptions, please.
Yeah, Arch Manning's coming in. You're on the transfer portal. Let's just punt.
Yeah, you don't have to be that
down
good in this game. Just like throw us a game-ending pick. That'd be nice for the Big 12. I'd throw some NIL money.
But don't forget, 7-2 LSU right now controls their own destiny. They are first place in the SEC West.
If this was Mark Richt, I would really believe that LSU had a chance to beat them because they always fall flat on their face with Mark Richt. But yeah.
But I mean, based on this, they go to Arkansas. They have a home game against UAB, and then they're home against, or excuse me, they're on the road against Texas A&M. They do have some tough matchups. I mean, I'm not saying they're just going to run through this, but I mean, they've gotten through all of their toughest matchups. Just think if they had to beat Florida State in the beginning of the season, but that 1 point loss.
I think I called a shot at you on Monday on that too.
I mean, they didn't win the game. It is what it is. Like Florida State has fallen off from the beginning when they started 4-0. I get it, but
you called that too. I think
Brian Kelly is, for all the crap he got in the off season, the hiring, blah blah this, the faking the Southern accent, like he's number 7. He's number 7, and he controls his own destiny to the national championship game or to the college football playoff. So
yeah, I slurped my pride up on that one too. I did say it was interesting because I don't know how his recruiting is going to go. This is technically someone else's team right now.
Right.
That being said, he definitely going for that. And it's almost like the more I sit on it, the more I'm like, that actually happened. Like I cannot explain how insane my brain is. Like I just haven't wrapped my mind around the LSU won that game.
Yeah, and don't forget the fact that the difference in recruiting between LSU and Notre Dame is night and day. I mean, the restrictions and regulations on recruiting at Notre Dame are so strict, and now he's just wide open spaces. Like, I think Brian Kelly is a forgotten top 5 coach because of his hindrance at Notre Dame. So I believe this is premature, but I'm gonna make a hot take. But I believe this is a little bit premature. I believe there may be a changing of the guard in the SEC West. Now,
Did
as
you
far
see
as
the Facebook
dominance,
post with
no. I mean, I don't think Brian Kelly's going to win 6 national titles.
right?
But I don't think we're just going to lock up Alabama every single year.
That's a
for
good point.
preseason predictions.
Did you see the the post where like Nick Saban like has on an Auburn sweatshirt?
No.
That was pretty good. It's like after that game, it was like Nick Saban takes his talents to Auburn. Hey, Auburn needs help bad.
Well, yeah, they just fired their coach, Brian Harsin,
Another
as well.
one, yeah.
So, with regards to this, like I said, the 2 and the 3 slots don't really matter right now. One of them will fall out, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate that one of those 2 teams has to fall out and has no chance to get the love like the SEC does and fall out, not play the title game, and still get into the college football playoff. Alabama. But I'm in that belief. If you don't win your conference, you should not be in the college football playoff. That's just my belief. So that leaves what happens with Tennessee, because it is a sneaky situation where Ohio State or Michigan falls out, and then Tennessee sits there in SEC championship weekend, doesn't play, and gets in. I don't like it.
Hear me out, okay? So LSU beats Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson wins the ACC. Texas beats TCU. Michigan beats Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tennessee is like, oh, cool, we're in now. Like, how? Like, at that point, you could argue Alabama back into the dang thing.
Well, no, if LSU beats Georgia, you could argue it's LSU, Ohio State, Georgia, and Tennessee with your scenario.
That's what I'm saying. That could literally happen.
It could. It absolutely could happen.
That's insane.
Oregon's got some big boys coming up, though. I think they've got...
they've played a lot. I didn't realize how much they've beaten since they've, like... I was like, holy... Them and TCU are beating some dogs, man.
Well, they've got Washington, who's top 25 right now. They've got Utah, who's top 25. And then they have the Pac-12 title game, which should be against UCLA or USC. I don't remember which.
USC can sneak in, too, if they beat Oregon. If Oregon runs the table and USC does, too, and USC beats them, I see USC getting more of a nod.
I think this is the year we may get 4 distinct conferences in. I mean, not that we haven't done that before.
That'd be nice.
But we don't get 2 SEC teams in. But it's nothing to take away from Tennessee. I mean, they've played incredibly well until last week. But
I looked at their games. They was it Pittsburgh in overtime? Like, that can't happen to me.
Who's that?
Like, they had some games. I'm like, oh, that's not very. Like, how are they? I was thinking, like, how are they number 1? Like, and even Michigan's schedule. Like, who the heck is Michigan beating at all? They had Penn State at home, and that was it.
Well, Tennessee was number 1 because they were number.
They beat Alabama. That's why
they were number 3, and then they beat Alabama, or they were number 4 and they beat Alabama. Yeah, Michigan's had a tough road. I mean, they had to come back against Rutgers last week as well. They were down to Rutgers, even though they ended up running up the score on them. But
yeah, it's not fair because I had the plus on my pick 'em wars too.
But see, this is the ultimate need for the expansion. Like, take a team like Tennessee. Like, I think now that you've lost, you're not going to win you're not going to even play in your conference title game, most likely. I mean, unless Georgia just collapses somehow.
Right.
But do I think you could also be a good enough team to win a national title? Yeah. So on one hand, that one loss shouldn't be literally detrimental to your entire season. But on the other hand, I don't think you should be playing for a national title. I don't think you should be in the playoffs if you can't win your conference. This is why expansion will be good.
I was saying boycott college football playoff until the 12 team comes in.
No, I'm not going to boycott it. I do like watching college football. Now, I can disagree with it until I'm blue in the face, but that's just my opinion. I mean, I think Tennessee is just a rock and a hard place. As it currently stands, no, they should not be in the college football playoff. But as a team as a whole, they're a good enough team as a whole that they could win a national title. And I think in an expanded playoff version, they would be one of the most deserving teams. And that's why they sit at 5.
Great idea. Yeah, we need 12 like this year, but it's not going to happen. But this would be the year we need 12 already.
It's too late to expand, unfortunately, but it would be cool.
Well, what if they just said screw it? What if like all the old bastards just swallowed their pride and said we're putting 12 in?
Well, they just get them all in a room and then there's a sinkhole.
I hate you. All right. When we come back, it's time to get caught up with the NBA and the NHL. Yes, we do talk more than football. We'll be right back. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah, you want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
If you host a pretty decent-sized podcast, if you run an okay business, it can be hard spreading the word. We'll be the first ones to admit. Friends want to check it out, but Aaron, will they?
Well, they won't when you say, "Hey, check out my okay business." No, but sheesh.
I had to. Well, it's time to grow your brand with Popple, P-O-P-L. Popple is an easy-to-use but high-tech digital business card. You can get your Popple using the code AMDRIVE for 20% off. Set up your links and share your OK business. People you share it with will not even need a Popple or the Popple app, which just got a cool new update. So grow your brand with Popple. Use the code AMDRIVE. When you get a keychain, pops like even credit card form on popl.co or go to mikeandaarondrive.com. But again, this code is the key. I am getting so good at my directions. Woo-hoo-hoo! Any last words on Popple?
Grow your brand. Your business is more than okay.
Grow your brizzle. Good. All right. It's time to get caught up. And I have to go first because I like to talk. It's the NBA with Mike. Aaron, what if I told you the Lakers still suck, and Darvin Ham this morning says, I didn't come to LA to lose. That's good, Darvin. Here's a Vice golf clap for you saying that. They stink. Anthony Davis turns it on when he likes, and I honestly believe Anthony Davis was a worse hire than Russell Westbrook at this point by LeBron James, because Russ is coming off the bench, Aaron, and looking okay again. Anthony Davis still grabs 5 boards.
I heard that Russell Westbrook's swallowed his pride, come off the bench, and like you said, when you come off the bench, a little bit less is expected of you. A little bit spotlight has been turned to a different player or players. But you're right, the Lakers still stink.
Man, they're horrible. Also,
and they deserve everything they get too. Sorry, I just had to put that in there.
The Jazz are 9-3.
Wow, really?
I would huge, and they've beaten some teams, man. Like Lauri Markkanen has all of a sudden become a sniper. We expected him to be at 7 foot tall out of Arizona. We've got Jordan Clarkson playing well. Colin Sexton off the bench. their team. I'm like, I don't know what people thought. Danny Ainge was just going to take these draft picks away, and he says, "No, people, I have their draft picks. My draft picks are fine."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, this dude's ability to just come. I mean, because you look at it's a bunch of like good guys. They're not great, but how many times did the Grizzlies make the playoffs doing the same thing?
That's
a
fair.
bunch of guys who were good, and they meshed together. It's insane. Now that I just want to make sure. Okay.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, they're leading the Western Conference, like you said. And who's their leading scorer right now? I mean, you have to look at Lauri Markkanen as the leading scorer. They still got Mike Conley on that team too. So, I mean, that's a little bit of a veteran leadership. Yeah,
I didn't even realize that. Okay. And also, one last thing I want to get to is Luka Doncic. I declared it yesterday. For me, is the best player in the NBA, and he has been for at least since the playoffs last year. I know people like to say Giannis, but I always say Giannis is a late bloomer. There's a ceiling on his jump shot for a reason, because he never developed the jump shot. Now it's too late, and he's in his prime. This is what you get. I think Luka is LeBron with a jumper. It's insane. Remember when LeBron first came to the league, he didn't have a jumper? Well, Luka has a jumper, and he still can body inside. It's unbelievable. Luka is my best player in the NBA, and I think I'm going to be with that for the next 10 years.
Okay. I mean, he's definitely fun to watch. Don't get me wrong with that.
I don't know. How does a slow, I don't want to say white because he's Slovenian, and it's not really like white when you think about the word white, but how does a guy just like rock these guys, these superstar athletes to sleep? It's insane. He's so smart. Aaron's tired. Get caught up with the NHL.
Yeah, you caught me right in the middle of a yawn.
And give us an update on that dude. Give us an update on that guy like who sliced his wrist on a freaking skateboard. That's insane.
Oh yeah, I mean, you told me about that yesterday. I haven't really looked into it a lot. It seems like he's gonna be okay though. Evander Kane.
That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he's gonna be all right. So. I don't really have anything more to report on that, but I will talk to you about the typo that you have there on the screen. But
get up,
get quagged up,
get quagged up, baby, crack it up.
Getting in here, let's talk about some surprise teams in the NHL so far. Obviously, no surprise to Captain Lou. He's been saying this juggernaut's been building for years now. But the Detroit Red Wings, second in the Atlantic. Right now behind the Boston Bruins. Of course, the Boston Bruins, you could call it a surprise team. I mean, they fired their head coach and they start out 11-2. Oh yeah, the 11-2, actually 12-2 now, Golden Knights. Of course, you could call that a surprise team as well. We knew they would be good, but 8 in a row currently to open up play here. Your Kraken started,
yes,
I believe, like
coming
2-3. Excuse me, or 2-4, 3-4 on a 5-game winning streak right now. Yeah, break up the Kraken. Maybe I was just a year too early on my playoff prediction for them. And another team I didn't catch when you were listing off the top fives. I assumed that Devils. You said it, but the New Jersey Devils, winners of 7 in a row. Unfortunately, they did. They took a hit with losing Andre Palat. He'll be out for 3 to 6 weeks. One of my favorite players in the NHL, was a Lightning for so many years.
Poor pal.
Now with the Devils, yeah, he's out for an extended period of time. A couple of disappointments here, you could call it right now. The Pittsburgh Penguins. You can get some chirp and chips for Glenn Kaplan. They've lost 7 straight games at this point. Washington as well, out of the gate, 6-2. St. Louis Blues, who we thought would be a solid team this year, started out of the gate 3-8. So some teams of disappointment, so to speak. Connor McDavid, of course, you talked about Luka. Connor McDavid, they've played 14 games. He has 29 points in 14 games. That's absolutely insane, but it doesn't always translate to success. They're 8-6 to start the season. It is. It's, they have two of the top 3 or 4 players in the NHL
Is this the
And
best
they're-
duo of all time in hockey? Like I don't know if
No,
hockey's
I
got
mean you've
duos.
had Gretzky and Messier, you've had Lemieux and Yager, you've had Sidney and Evgeny Malkin. No, this isn't. Well, not the best duo in history, but it's the best duo that currently exists right now,
You
and
got
probably has
Tanev and Beers. That's insane too.
Matty Beniers. Yeah, absolutely. That's the best 10. Yeah, no, stop.
I'm getting the names, Matty. Come on now, Brendan Tanev.
You're absolutely right. But best duo in history, they are far
Tanev
from it.
was fun fact, real quick. Tanev, he was one. I wanted him to be the first jersey until I saw Matty Beniers.
Have you seen Brandon Tanev's photos over the years? His player card photos, player profile photos.
No.
Just search Brandon Tanev player photos or something. You'll enjoy it. He has basically kept up a very strange face for the last few years.
Tom Brady style.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. He does have a little bit of change to him. You could see it, yeah. But once again, the Metropolitan is always and will forever be a stacked division. Despite the fact, like I said, that Washington and Pittsburgh and New York have started slow out of the gate, New York being the Rangers. Don't count any of these teams out. The Atlantic, like I said, Boston's rolling. Toronto and Tampa Bay aren't far behind the Red Wings. It's beginning to shape up as there's some surprise teams. Can they hold on? Winnipeg and Dallas are two other ones. Colorado Avalanche, defending champions, haven't played enough games, but they have started out of the gate a little bit slow at 6-4. They moved down my rankings.
Yep.
This week, I would have taken them out. I still think they're a better team than the Devils, but they're hanging on, but thin ice in the top 5 rankings for me as well right now. But it's shaping up to be a good season. And as the season progresses, we'll talk a little more basketball and hockey. I know that it doesn't get enough love on here, but stay tuned to some Jambalaya Wednesdays because that's when you'll get your hoops and skates fix.
I'm cooking up my jambalaya.
There you go. Absolutely. Get caught up in the NHL and get caught up in the NBA each and every week here with Mike and Aaron.
Love it. That was a good tease. I love it. It's good stuff, man.
All right, that's going to do it here for Jambalaya Wednesday. Don't forget, guys, we are the co-hosts, me and that guy, of the Pick'em Wars podcast, beginning this and every Friday at noon Eastern time, wherever you find your podcasts, Spotify, etc. And, of course, tomorrow is college football preview. We've got some big ones, Bama, Ole Miss, Oregon, Washington, etc. And, of course, we've got Thursday night football, the Falcons, and the Panthers.
Oh.
But for Michael Carvelis, I'm Aaron Crouch saying enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Drive safe.